Hey everyone, so welcome back to my review. I'm really sick at the moment, so I can't shout or anything. Sorry, excuse me. But I'm gonna be reviewing this book, and I'm so sorry to the author, but I generally do enjoy this book. Um, I just found it really hard to get through. It took me 19 days, and I did say in my was it book to be read that I was going to be reading three books, but I think I'm only going to get through two. Yeah, I'm really sick, as you could tell. My voice is completely not there at all. But anyway, I'm going to be reviewing the You Better Watch Out by Sarah. I can't pronounce her last name. This is a YA thriller novel from what I gathered, 375 pages. Um, and I gave it 3 stars out of 5 generally because there was so much detail, padding. There was a lot of inappropriate things mentioned. Now, when I say inappropriate, I mean by um certain topics that I can't really talk about on here because of a YouTube and everything. But they were, I mean, obviously they happen day to day in life, not with everyone, but it happens a lot. Um, yeah, but unfortunately, because there was, essay and uh, inappropriate things happening, I found it really hard to try and enjoy this book a little bit more because I kind of felt like that this character was an arse and that character was an arse. I believe this is her first novel that she's written as well. Um, so yeah, so this is You Better Watch Out. This is a Christmas themed book where a girl called, I'm not very good with names, so I apologise if I get this wrong, but the spelling of the character's name is Eleri. I think it's Ellery. I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna go with Eleri. So she receives every day up until like Christmas Eve, she receives like a gift in a tower block. And they're meant it says on the back of the book that they're meant to get more like sinister and really bad, but I kind of felt like they weren't as bad as the back of the book was making it out to be. Um, but yeah, we do. The one positive thing is we do have talk about a cat called Lavender in this book. Uh, so yeah, it was nice to have a cat themed in this book. I will mention that this book is based in Britain. Sorry. For those of you who will remember that the Grenfell Tower is mentioned in this book. Um, that was the other thing that bothered me as well, was because this book is based at um two tower blocks, one being empty and abandoned, the other one being full of life, and the other block of rats being fine. Um, but Grenfell is mentioned in this, and obviously, if you lived in Britain or you heard about it on the news, Grenfell was such a devastating event that happened over here, to do with cladding and stuff that did change a lot. Um, yeah, it was horrible, and that was the other thing that put me off about this book, was because obviously Grenfell was mentioned as well, and it was like it was such a devastating time when it actually happened. I remember watching it on the news myself, um, as they were trying to put the fire out of the footage and everything. And the fact that I believe that no one's still being held responsible. So, if any of you are watching this and you were part of Grenfell where you didn't go to court or anything, I'm talking about, like the builders, etc., the people higher up, then a simple fuck you, basically. But I will read the back of the book anyway. So every day in December, a gift is left for Ellery in the abandoned tower block opposite her flat. At first, she can't help but be flattered, hoping that her secret Santa is ener- energetic. Ras, a boy she has a history with. But with each day that passes, the gifts get darker and more dangerous. Yeah, so when I read the back and I got to this part, I was really wanted to read this for the specific reason. The gifts word um, uh, it wasn't as dangerous as they as it was making it out to be. Is this a harmless bit of festive fun, or does this have something to do with Nina's disappearance last year? If so, will Eleri be next? A dark, moorish and chilling, the countdown to Christmas is on, and time is running out. The cover as well is very Christmassy. Like we just have we have like a pane of fake snow being put on glass by the looks of it, where it's just someone's just kind of put their finger on it and rubbed you better watch out on it. But the cover is really pretty, and I did say that in my Instagram post. Um, yeah. So in this book, I was very confused at the beginning because we kind of jumped from Eleri to when Nina went missing to then her acting with Nina, which would have been flashbacks. Sorry, guys. It's just if I don't do this with you now, I'm gonna forget the book because I'm not being horrible. The book was that bad, and the average star on Goodreads is averaging out about 3 stars on the book. As someone posted on their review that the book's bad when you basically forget the story. And I was forgetting most of it after I read it, so I was trying to take the most juicy kind of twist plots out of it to make a review, but there you go. Eleri reveals that Nina has gone missing after putting up posters, news reports. Nina has still not been seen. Eleri's bag is taken by someone and placed in a tower block on the estate. Eleri gets it back, but it feels uneasy after someone else has been touching her stuff. Eleri receives a text from an unknown number with 2 emojis. So every day she gets a text, I think instead on like 4 p.m., where the secret Santa will then be like, depending on the day, it'll be like door 1, door 2, door 3, door 4, door 5, door 6, door 7. And then she would have to go to the tower block and go to each individual floor, and it'll be like flat 1 or flat 210 or something like that. So that gives you the rundown of it. Eleri thinks that Ras, who she has fancies is the secret Santa. There are scenes where Nina has talked about, so this would be before she went missing, is what I'm guessing, and I think I'm right. So that's why I got a bit confused, because I was like, we go into a scene where Nina's technically still alive, and then we go into other scenes where Eleri is like talking about Nina after she's gone. Eleri receives another text saying door 3. She and Beni go to floor 3 of the tower block. Blocked to find a stuffed octopus. So these are like kind of Nina's stuff, and the person who's doing this is basically out for revenge. Halfway through the book, it does list on page 193 everything that she finds. So I'll read out what she finds in a second. Again, sorry. Now this is the most craziest one. Eleri gets a real ring with a diamond that she later gives to her mum as a Christmas gift, and Eleri claims that she found it in a charity shop. Obviously her secret Santa said give it to someone you love, so she gives it to her mum. Her and her friends test to confirm it's a real ring. Eleri confronts Ras, and Ras claims that he didn't leave the ring in the tower block. So Ras, Nina, and Eleri were like really close friends, and they had that like close friendship group. And Ras and Eleri kind of like form a really close friendship, I would say, towards the end of the book. But yeah, so it's the end of the book. So this is going towards the flashback, I think. And Eleri, Ras, and Nina talk about the different subjects, that how they become friends before Nina went missing. Eleri and her friends try to figure out if her keys have been copied. Eleri keeps the gifts in a pillowcase under her bed, so she slowly collects them over time and puts them under her bed in a pillowcase. And unfortunately, her secret Santa did break in at one point to take the kitten called Lavender that find we find out about Lavender later on in the book. And obviously this makes Ellery very uncomfortable, and she manages to convince her mum to go and get the lock strays. And this is a British book when Sainsbury's, Primark, and all that is being mentioned. Because I think her mum works at Sainsbury's, so I was like, yeah, this is based in Britain when you hear those British stores. Ellery and Mum go out with her mum not telling her where they are going. They meet Adam, who is given a kitten called Lavender. Now we find out about Lavender for Ellery's mum. Ellery receives another gift after unwrapping the box. It's a key, but it's not Ellery's key. So in this scene, Adam, who her mum meets, they kind of like hook up. And at the end of the book, they kind of spend Christmas together, which I think is really sweet. But yeah, and then they get the kitten called Lavender. Eleri and Beni go to the shed to find out that the groundskeeper is living in it. Eleri and Beni thought that Ray had kidnapped a girl and is feeding her microbes. There was a whole scene where they literally thought that Ray was like a kidnapper and he was keeping them in the shed in the back of the store. But it turns out that Ray was just living there because he'd lost his wife and he'd become homeless. And obviously he didn't want anyone to find out because he would lose the one, roof over his head. The whole of the school are pulled into assembly, and there's a person for the police to tell everyone that a woman discovered Nina's body in Wales, and Ellery is a complete shock. So they think that Nina committed, took her own life, because of what happened at her old school, and a accusation that happened at the old school, about rape. So yeah, as you can tell, that's why I didn't enjoy this book that much. So towards the end, we find out that Nina's boyfriend Hendrik is behind the secret Santa. He's out for revenge for people because people hurt Nina to the point of her ending her life. So Hendrik was quite close with Nina, and that they were basically soulmates, as he describes in the book. But he didn't want to. Um, but they weren't going to come out with a relationship until she was done with school, and that she changed to the school where Aries out to keep her head down and try and like get her life back and live a normal life. Obviously, then when they find out that Hendrik is the secret Santa, he put in the lift shaft. He put a netting at the bottom, so when it was meant to be Ellery that falls. When she falls, she obviously wouldn't like die or anything. He just wanted them to suffer. But obviously Hedrick took Beni and gave him medication to make him really unwell. Ellery finds out that her best friend, which I'm just going to call Cal, which her long name is Calista, was behind taking Nina's stuff as she was jealous of Ellery's and Nina's friendship. So yeah, that was basically the book, and then I put as an extra a very slow read. Took me 19 days to read. A lot of unnecessary detail, not a lot of plot twists. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy this book that much due to these things. Um, sorry guys. There's so many things wrong with this book that I just couldn't enjoy it. just because, as I say, there are so many things with SA and inappropriate stuff and all of this revenge stuff. It just didn't sit right with me. So unfortunately, it will be going into my unhaul. But I appreciate the author not letting the kitten get hurt in any way, in a bad way. So which is good. But yeah, so I give this 3 stars, and if you want to read it, I recommend reading it at Christmas because it is like a Christmas themed. Um, so yeah, I would go and read this one at Christmas. Um, so yeah, that's all I have to say really. Not a massive fan of this book, but I will attach my review info in the description and my links for my Goodreads where you can follow that. I will also put it on Instagram as well. So thank you very much for watching. And yeah, thanks.